Welcome to the Soundtrack Exchange, where my co-host Christelle and I exchange songs from movies, video games and television soundtracks, and then chat about them. How about that?
Each episode, Cameron and I will give each other a song to listen to and talk about the details, the history, and the reasons why we think our chosen tracks are so awesome. So buckle up and let's get exchanging. Cameron, I'm excited for Christmas. It didn't really, the excitement didn't really start until, after Thanksgiving, the U.S. Thanksgiving, which was quite late this year. Usually it's
How does one know
earlier.
when it falls?
I believe it's the fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay, and what's that significance? What's it all about? Like, what is it? How did it come about? Is it like something to do with your independence, or is it something religious?
No, neither. Actually, it has to do with the European settlers coming and colonizing the U.S.
Really?
So it's yeah. So it's basically, if you like boil it down, it's when the Native Americans helped the Pilgrims farm and like figure out how to survive.
That's pretty cool.
Only to then take more land and
commit atrocities.
Destroy. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, it was all the rage back then. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's Thanksgiving. Anyway, it was quite late this year, so it didn't really feel like Christmas. But then I took part in America's grandest tradition, which is Black Friday shopping.
Oh yeah, what'd you get?
Yeah, Josh and I went to Target, which if you've never been to Target, I'm so sorry.
Haven't lived.
Haven't lived. Love Target or Target. And they were releasing Taylor Swift's Tortured Poets Department, the anthology. So it's like the longer version of the album. They were releasing the vinyl.
Okay.
And then a book, like a picture. It's not. A picture book makes it sound like a children's book, but like.
And you color it in?
Yeah, but you don't. It's a very thick book for the Eras Tour. Mm-hmm. So we stood in line. We woke up at 4:30 in the morning and went and stood in line to get those, and it was very good. So fun. So now I think it's starting to feel a little more like Christmas.
And sorry, tangent, but that Taylor Swift thing, is that something that's Target specific, or was it just your local outlet that you could get it at?
That's actually a really good question. I think it's Target specific. And I want to say that's the only place you can do it. So they had they released it in stores on the Friday, and then the next day they did it online. So we were part of the crazies who didn't want to try our hand at.
But those crazy experiences, they're few and far between these days. You don't queue for concert tickets. You don't queue for books. Well, you can, I suppose.
You don't really queue for Black Friday anymore because stores have expanded their deals. So also, which I mean, there's like pros and cons. The pros are that a lot more shops are closed on Thanksgiving to give their employees a chance to like celebrate the holiday, which is great. Yeah. Love that. But I don't know. It just has changed. I think, especially with COVID, now everything's just online. Everyone does their Black Friday online because they can. So there's not really a reason to go to the shop. So this was really the first year in a very long time that we, my nose was really itchy. Sorry. That we went and like stood in line to get into a store at an ungodly hour.
So what Christmassy? Because this is our Christmas episode.
This is our Christmas episode. Well, Merry Christmas, Cameron.
Merry Christmas, Christelle. It's actually next week.
Happy Christmas.
But who knows what we're going to do on the day?
Probably not this.
No. That's what we've decided.
And the idea, because we absolutely could have released this episode on Christmas, but we kind of figured that by the time you get to Christmas, you're kind of Christmased out. You don't really want to listen to Christmas music anymore. You're ready to move on to literally anything else.
The new year, 2025. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
You sounded like a little mouse that was just being consumed by a trap. Yeah. Anyway, but a positive one. Like when this episode comes out, it's going to be Christmas Day. People are going to be in a comatose state from cheese. They don't want to be listening to, they'll have plenty of Christmas media coming their way,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to talk about Christmas traditions.
Yes.
Because I have a feeling you eat a lot more cheese
during Christmas.
You are on Christmas than I probably would. But I think we should talk about our songs first.
That's a good idea. Do you want to go first or will I?
How about I go first? Because I think your song leads into the different traditions.
That's very true. Well. That's very true. You go first.
Cameron, did you know that we're quite a few episodes into this podcast and not one of us has picked a John Williams song until today. Can you
That's
believe
very
that?
Weird. We've mentioned him a couple of times, but he hasn't.
We have mentioned him so many times.
Do you think that's a subconscious thing that he's just too on the nose on the...
Maybe.
We're trying to be different.
I think his music is so iconic, and so we're trying to do other music. I don't know. But the song that I assigned to you is a John Williams song, and probably one of my favorite Christmas songs.
And I think when we decided Christmas on this theme, it was the first one that came to my mind to give to you.
Yep.
But you got there before me. Yeah, you beat me to the race. Beat me in the race.
I will say I did offer to choose a different song. And
you did?
Like, no, it's okay.
No, I wanted to come up with my own one, and I'm glad I did.
Accent. Yes. So the song that I assigned to you is the main titles of Home Alone.
Yes.
/ Somewhere in My Memory.
Yes, it's a two piece.
Two little vibes. I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know. It's really hard not to try and
it was like Cameron Diaz's Irish accent in Gangs of New York. It was just the worst thing anyone has ever done.
If it helps, I wasn't trying to be Irish, but I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's fine. It's not offensive at all. It's fine. Yeah, so Somewhere in My Memory / theme from Home Alone / main titles. Like you said, two very different vibes there.
Yeah.
The first one being
that one?
Yeah. Precisely. It's a little mischievous. There's bouncy movement to it. It's very kind of sneaky. It foretells the sneaky nature of what Kevin McAllister has to do to defend his home from these robbers. If you haven't seen it,
where have you been? You shouldn't be listening to this podcast if you haven't seen Home Alone.
This movie came out in 1990, so if you still haven't seen it and I'm spoiling the plot for you, it's been long enough. So really it's on you.
No, you've had your chance.
Yeah, so the whole premise is that Kevin McAllister is in this great big house, and his family and extended family are all going on a trip the next morning, and then something happens and the power gets cut, and so their alarm clocks don't go off. And so when they wake up, the trucks to the airport have already come to pick them up. So they're scrambling and trying to get out of the house, and somehow they leave Kevin McAllister at home.
Wonderful parenting.
And so then he's there, home alone. And I will say, the parents do eventually realize, and then half of the plot is the mom trying to get back to Kevin McAllister.
During Christmas as well, over the Christmas period, so it's quite difficult.
Yeah, and unbeknownst to them, these two thieves, guys that
robbers.
Break in, are plotting to break into these houses that are in this neighborhood.
I would also say that the theme kind of represents the robbers in the house as well, sneaking in the shadows.
Yeah, sneaking in, trying to get to the goods,
the loot.
Yeah.
The loot.
Whatever they had in their homes.
Not the instrument.
Maybe.
The McAllister's prized loot collection. Going back 500 years. I'm sorry, keep going.
that be funny if they really did have that? I don't know. So yeah. So
keep it together. Let's go. Come on, we're fine. We're fine.
We're adults. I did say doo-doo earlier though, but
great.
Anyway. Yeah, so it's very mischievous, bouncy, kind of lighthearted, and then it flows into the part of Somewhere in My Memory, which just for me just feels so like peaceful and
loving.
Nighttime, things are quiet, people are together, families are together, and snow is falling, and it just is so lovely and beautiful. And so it's the two kind of sides of Kevin McAllister's Christmas of the mischievous like home invasion piece, and then the like piece of his mom trying to come home to him and all of that. But it just is such a lovely track, I feel.
I agree. I think as well the two parts of the theme, I think, are the different sides of Kevin McAllister's personality as well. On one side we have his mischievous nature, and he's like, I don't need anyone. And then on the flip side,
I hate you. I hope I wake up and
I hope
you're
bad
not
things
here.
happen to you. Yeah.
I
hope I have a different family,
classic
I
kid
think
stuff
is what he was saying.
Yes.
But then at the flip side, he wasn't right. He was just being a bratty little child, and then on his own he realized that he does need his family, especially his mother. The father, not so much. I think he's just purely the breadwinner and don't really know what he does at all. But the mother's great.
What are men good for? Not
just
very much.
Getting that bacon, really.
Yeah.
Just taking home that bacon.
But
some gaff as well they live in. Good Lord.
Oh my gosh, that house is huge. Also, to be able to afford a trip to, weren't they trying to get to France? To visit his brother, the dad's brother.
Yeah, I always get the second one was Florida and the first one was Paris.
I get them confused too. Oh, yes.
Is it Paris then Florida?
Yes.
Yeah. Because he gets on the wrong plane in number 2 and goes to New York.
Yes, which I actually think I like that one more than the first one.
It's a great movie, yeah.
Yeah, Lost in New York. Also, just because Tim Curry is in it, and I love Tim Curry.
Tim Curry's the
best.
I
love the way he says pizza.
Yes. And I love Brenda Fricker as well, one of Ireland's Oscar-winning actresses, I should say, from my left foot.
Was she the bird lady?
The bird lady.
The bird lady. Lovely.
She's quite a recluse now. She lives in Dublin in a little cottage and doesn't talk to anyone really.
Oh, the dream.
Yeah. Brenda did it right.
She did. One of my favorite things about this song, I think, is that duality of the two kind of different sides.
Yeah.
And it's one that you actually see in quite a few other main themes of Christmas music. I think I don't know this for certain, but I could probably confidently say that John Williams kind of started this theme of having a two-part
personality
kind of Christmas. Yeah. Where it's very bouncy and childlike and cheery. And then there's a kind of slower, more beautiful, elegant snow, la, 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 especially in Elf. Have you seen Elf?
Did he do Elf?
Will Ferrell? No, he didn't do Elf.
Okay. I've of course seen Elf. One of the best.
But that when you're listening to the Home Alone main theme and then you go right into the Elf main theme, I mean, they don't sound similar, but they have similar styles in that they start real bouncy and then go into the like doo, doo.
Like I think we've spoken about this before, that Christmas music is kind of it's hard to differentiate sometimes unless you know it really well, because they kind of all tick the same boxes and hit the same things that all kind of film composers try to do with Christmas movies, the sleigh bells and what have you.
Of course.
But Elf sounds very like
Come
Alone. The key elements, exactly.
Which would be bells, probably.
Sleigh bells. Ring ding-a-ling.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? Yeah, don't really know that I have that much more to say about it. Specifically, I do want to mention that music for Somewhere in My Memory was John Williams. Lyrics were by Leslie Bricusse.
Oh, yeah.
Feels important to mention Him.
Him, yes.
Him.
May he rest in peace, because he also co-wrote the song I have for you next. Which
is so wild. To be totally honest with you guys, you listeners out there who we love and cherish, we're recording this episode because we recorded it and then it just was like off the rails. So now we're redoing it. But in that first recording, we found out the similarities between our songs.
Yeah.
And that is lyrics by Leslie Bricusse.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that the reason why we sometimes re-record episodes is because sometimes it's quite late in the day for me and quite early in the morning for you. And maybe we're just not in our A games. And we should, wouldn't say prep more, but hype ourselves up more to ensure that we do the best of our ability.
Or less. Honestly, I think we need to hype ourselves up less.
A bit crazy last time.
I do want to talk a little bit about my honorable mentions for this specific theme. This applies to all of our themes, and I think we chose a really great subject for our podcast because I don't think we will ever run out of content to talk about.
No.
Because I could have chosen at least 6 different songs to talk about specifically for Christmas. And you know, we've kind of talked about the dreamy tracks. You know, we did Serendipity, so the fast forward track from Serendipity, which is technically a Christmas movie.
Yes.
And that's very just dreamy is just the best way to describe it. But I would also honorable mention to Maestro from The Holiday. That is Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
But also just so beautiful. Not necessarily super Christmassy sounding because it lacks those sleigh bell elements.
Yes. Sleigh bell elements.
Yeah. But it just is like so lovely and beautiful
I had to do that.
And dreamy. It was good. It was great.
Thank you.
It wasn't good. It was great.
Thank you.
I think it's important that we talk a little bit about John Williams. I'm only going to briefly cover him because I think we should do a John Williams specific. And that's where we can go into the absolute details of him and his life. And
the repertoire, the decades.
Yes. John Williams is hands down one of the most prolific film composers.
Yeah. He needs his own
composers. He needs his own
multi-part.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
His career has spanned 7 decades. 70 years.
That's amazing.
He's been doing what he's doing. Incredible. He has won 26 Grammy Awards, 5 Academy Awards, 7 BAFTA Awards, 3 Emmy Awards, and 4 Golden Globe Awards. He has also been nominated for an Academy Award 54 times, which makes him the second most nominated person.
Holy popcorn.
After Walt Disney.
That's mental.
And he is the oldest Oscar nominee in any category at 92 years old. Just incredible.
What was that for?
Let's find out together.
Because it wasn't Revenge of the Sith or The Rise of Skywalker.
Revenge of the Sith.
Because he's 92
sorry,
now.
I didn't mean to just laugh at you. I apologize.
Idiots. 2020, Rise of Skywalker was his last. Oh no, sorry. Academy Awards. 2024, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He was nominated.
Interesting.
He hasn't won an Oscar since. He hasn't won an Oscar since Schindler's List in 94.
Oh my!
That's crazy.
Schindler's that track is
it's beautiful.
So beautiful. Such a powerful and sad movie. But that song made me want to learn violin just so that I could play that specific.
I will say he did win a few Grammys there recently.
Yes, that makes sense.
That does make sense.
That makes sense. And then tying it back to Home Alone, one of those 54 nominations for an Academy Award was for Somewhere in My Memory. Beautiful. He was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song and Grammy Award for Best Song Written for Visual Media. So Amazing. There you go. A little fun fact for you in particular there, Cameron.
Little old me.
Yeah, a version of Somewhere in My Memory, a Spanish version, was recorded in Spain for the end credits of Home Alone 2. So there you go.
So it was like a domestic only thing for the Spanish people.
You're asking me a lot of questions today that I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for following
I have no idea.
Facts that you've given me.
How very dare you treat me like
awful
an expert?
Oh my God.
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm just reading these things.
Oh, that's great. Let everyone know at home that.
Hey, we said we were going to do a light amount of research.
That's true.
So
we're not breaking our backs
sound like
here.
we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
I did light research so I could sound like I know what I'm talking about. You're the one asking follow-up questions.
I should. Yeah,
so
I need to stop breaking the illusion here. I apologize.
Listen, I really appreciate your hunger for knowledge. For more information. So it's that is a trait that you should never give up.
Okay, thank you. Just not with you. I should give it up with you.
I mean, about specific things you don't have to. It's because I'm tired. I sound so I'm not Canadian or even close to it.
Yeah.
And when I'm tired, I about
I
don't know.
Okay, well, we talk about my song next because it's kind of a cheat one.
It is a cheat one.
So
I'll let you have it.
I gave the song to you, Pure Imagination, sung by the late great Gene Wilder for the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And while this isn't a strictly Christmas movie, for the last couple of generations now, mine and the one before me specifically would always watch Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory at Christmas, along with the likes of Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and others.
Which are all very wonderful classic movies.
Wonderful classic movies, musical movies. Definitely more to do with the generation above. Like the generation below, I'd say, wouldn't be huge into watching them. So I think it might be a dying trend. Yeah. But for me, definitely, always watch them every year, especially this one.
It's really interesting to me what people consider Christmas movies. I mean, even before I was talking about Serendipity, which is technically a Christmas movie, and that's because the first like beginning scenes happen at Christmas, and then again, I think at the end, it's also Christmas.
Yes.
And for me, I think there has to be more than it just taking place around Christmas for it to feel like a Christmas movie for me. Like there needs to be one other element of Christmas for it to be considered a Christmas movie for me.
Absolutely. I totally get that. Sorry, go on.
No.
I just think that for me, it's just something that it's synonymous with rather than it being. So like it's always going to be on the Irish TV channels the day of. Usually, maybe Christmas Eve or Stephen's Day or Boxing Day. What do you call it? The day after Christmas? 26th?
The day after Christmas? Boxing Day.
Boxing Day is what? Okay. So that's what the English call it. We call it St. Stephen's Day.
Okay. I thought I was going to follow-up question.
Who is St. Stephen? I don't know.
Oh.
Nothing to do with Christmas anyway. He could be. I don't know. I'm not very religious.
Should you know that?
I should. Yeah. There's lots of things I should know.
Who doesn't do their research now?
Not me. I've been exposed. Anyway, so
what is that?
I've been exposed as a fraud.
Oh, okay.
What did you think I meant?
No, I that's why I asked. I had no idea. It sounded like a movie quote, but
oh no, that's just me.
Couldn't place it. So a little story for you that I think is on topic here. I was watching, the Disney Plus app has live channels, kind of like the days of old, when we were growing up, that you would just turn the TV on and things would just be playing and you just had to watch what was on. So we were watching their Christmas streaming channel because Nightmare Before Christmas was playing. So naturally, when I see that, I'm always
You're listening to
click.
episode 3 of the Soundtrack Exchange. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And it then led into Edward Scissorhands. So this is a Christmas channel, so they only play Christmas music. So Nightmare Before Christmas it's got Christmas in the name. Of course, you know. Of course, and then it led right into Edward Scissorhands, which then led into Chronicles of Narnia. And I thought that was very interesting because I don't know that I would consider either Edward Scissorhands or Chronicles of Narnia a Christmas movie. Although I will say I think Chronicles of Narnia makes a little bit more sense.
Because of the snow?
The snow and, did they call him Father
the
Christmas?
Elf deer? Sorry.
They call him...
Are you talking about Atlas the lion?
No.
Okay.
Also...
The elf deer?
Aslan. It's not Atlas. Aslan.
Is it Aslan?
I believe Santa is in the movie. I think they call him Father Christmas, but he's in the movie. And it's like snowy and winter, and so it is like very all that. But Edward Scissorhands, I don't know that I would consider that a Christmas movie, but it is technically around Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It doesn't seem that way because they're in like a place where it doesn't snow, so it doesn't look cold and Christmassy and all of that. Anyway. But
I think we need to delve deeper because all the movies that we have mentioned are very wholesome, magical, child-focused, fantastical movies.
Which the movies that you listed as being like classic Irish or classic movies that you would watch.
Yeah.
Being Irish.
Irish, yeah.
Those
being
are all,
the way we are.
They fall into...
being how we are, yeah. Yeah, no, they do.
They fall into that category, absolutely.
Yeah. And so does the music as well, fittingly. So,
tell me more about it.
Well, it's obviously part of a strong repertoire written by Leslie Bricusse, who you just mentioned, who is a man.
I really hope that we're pronouncing it right. There's just no way of knowing.
Ever so light research being done. Anthony Newley as well is the other composer for the movie for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The album itself, obviously Pure Imagination is easily the most famous song. Maybe the Oompa Loompa bits are quite iconic. And probably the only ones that are comparable with the Johnny Depp one as well. Those are some solid Oompa Loompa songs.
Oh my gosh, incredible. Danny Elfman, I love you.
Yeah, shout out.
I would say Pure Imagination is probably one of the more iconic ones because it's able to be used
standalone
outside of it.
Yeah,
standalone outside of it. That and then the song that the Candyman sings about the Candyman. Yes, I would say those two I have heard the most outside of the movie. There was a commercial for Target that played on the TV that played the Pure Imagination. It was a cover of Pure Imagination.
Nice. Oh, it's beautiful.
And it was a Christmas ad.
Have you seen the movie often?
I have. It's one of those, being of the younger generation, and I think just culturally, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Sound of Music, all of those movies, I don't know that I would have been introduced to if it wasn't for my parents.
Of course, yeah.
Especially my mom. Yeah, my mom being very musical, loving musical movies. She introduced me and taught me most of what I know. And so I know those movies because of her. So sometimes when I'm feeling sentimental or sad, or even I sometimes even get in the mood where I want to watch a movie that's just like old.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to describe the it's like a food craving, but it's what I want to like watch and consume, but not like
totally understand. And there's some people who don't have that feeling at all. They would be the opposite of that feeling.
Yeah,
I would sometimes think, I don't want to watch that. It feels too old. Sometimes I don't. Yeah. But it has to be a mood you're in, I believe.
And every once in a while, I just get in that mood and I watch it.
I have a bit of trivia for you. Not trivia. I have a question for you to see if you can answer. Do you remember the melody or motif, I should say, that Gene Wilder plays before they go into the chocolate room? Very good.
Oh, is that
That's it?
Okay, yes.
What's that from?
You're so much better.
I'll give you full points if you can give me the composer.
I want to say Beethoven.
I'll give you the name. Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which is German.
Yeah, you definitely didn't say that right.
Probably not.
No.
And I give the composer was a German speaker. He's dead now.
Well, yeah. Is it Beethoven?
No. Way more famous.
Kleine Nachtmusik.
Don't Google it. I can see you Googling it. You can't Google.
Mozart?
Come on. He's the Yes. Oh. Thank you.
Well, it was going to be one of the two,
You nailed it.
Second
you
try.
got it in two.
Second time's the charm.
Anyway, he plays a small motif from Eine kleine Nachtmusik on his little flute, which I think is very cool. It's a beautiful song. It plays when they all go into the chocolate room for the first time, which is a big fairyland kind of Teletubbies style room where you can eat everything, and it is.
I've never thought about that, but it is, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was the first time those actors saw the room. So as they're going in, their reactions are genuine. I love it when they do that.
He sang that song in one fell swoop. One Take Wonder, our Gene Wilder.
Insanely talented.
I've lots of favorite facts. I love the way that the chocolate fountain, the chocolate
river,
lake, river.
I think it's a fountain,
body of water. Was actually water, food coloring, and cocoa powder, and it got really, really smelly.
Yeah, it doesn't look
so. It's not as
tasty.
No, it doesn't look tasty. It looks like brown water. And hey,
because it is.
But I do think that I would prefer if the viscosity of the brown river was a little bit thicker, because it would be more realistic. But hey,
like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory version.
Exactly, they did it better.
That looked like straight.
Although that was entirely CGI. That whole
but it looked tasty.
But it did. And what's my last fact?
Tell me that last fact. Tell us.
No, I've got nothing.
Oh.
Although I will say that the Oompa Loompas were like proper party animals, and they would go like drinking with each other after work. And I like to think that maybe people joined them.
Probably.
But then again, it was the 70s and maybe they didn't.
I have no idea.
Anyway, that's all I got. But I love that song and I love that movie.
Lovely song.
And I'm going to be watching it this day next week on the 25th of December.
This day? Oh.
Gameplays.
I just got so incredibly confused because this day next week.
Going.
Yes, that's what you were doing. That's what you meant. Lovely. How do you traditionally spend Christmas, Cameron? Other than watching this? Is it, sorry, before you answer that question, let me ask another question.
Sure.
Another question.
Sure.
Would you put this movie on Christmas, or would it just be playing?
Great question. Probably not. I would put the Harry Potter movies on.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Like they'll be getting streamed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't look for to put on Willy Wonka or any of the other old classics.
Sure. You just know that it's going to be on.
But I know that we'd make an occasion of sitting around the telly when it's playing. Absolutely.
Oh.
That's a very good question. It's more, it's a tradition that's heavily linked with the television channels.
Sure.
And just doing nothing but watching telly and eating yourself into a coma.
And what would you traditionally eat? Tell me about your foods.
What don't I eat?
Not just like in general. I mean like on Christmas.
On Christmas, ham, turkey/chicken. Maybe like a turkey crown, not a full turkey, because that would be just wasteful. And
a turkey crown?
Like turkey's shit.
It honestly, yeah.
Like I think a couple of Christmases we've done a chicken instead.
It's a conversation that our family has every year for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because, my family is not classically American. My family's originally from South Africa. So that plays into a lot of our traditions. And we have this talk every holiday of, do you guys want turkey? Do you really care?
The whole turkey?
Like, I don't know. The only reason we had turkey this year for Thanksgiving was for the gravy, truly.
As in you made turkey gravy from the turkey fat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But even then, it was a turkey breast, and so there wasn't really that much. It was very delicious, though. Marlies, your turkey was great. It wasn't dry, but typically it is.
Typically it is, and if it's accompanied by a thick, lovely gravy, okay, I'm eating it. I'm eating it all.
Yes.
Definitely putting it in a sambo with a small bit of salt and a little bit of mayonnaise as well.
Is that all you would put in a sandwich, or would you add other things?
Oh yeah, I should get back to my original list.
Yes,
so
sorry.
The turkey and the ham. The ham I can't get enough of, and my mother would glaze it with just lots of sweet things.
I love ham.
Do you call hammer it and laird? They call me. No, that's a very posh word for ham. We call it human ham actually in our home.
Why?
Because the only way you have because normal ham is sliced ham. It's boring. You put it in your lunch making sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
But this is like the special ham it's so good that it's like eating a human. Not that I've ever.
That's
anyway. Turkey/chicken, ham, meat stuffing, veg stuffing, roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, potatoes. Is it gratin?
Yeah,
gratin potatoes.
I mean, if you're French, you would scoff at the pronunciation, but neither of us are. So
no,
who cares?
Not yet. Not gratin.
But yeah, potatoes gratin, whatever.
Potatoes gratin. Yeah, forgive my vulgarity, but potatoes gratin. They're the best. And then carrots, parsnips, turnips, maybe sweet corn, peas, 2 gravies as well, I believe.
Jeez.
Brussels sprouts, of course, roasted Brussels sprouts.
I love a Brussels sprout.
I'm actually drooling.
We're getting to lunchtime for me, and I'm hungry.
I'm sorry for doing this to you.
No.
And then obviously for a dessert, there'd be a trifle, there would be a cheesecake, there'd be a chocolate cake. It differs.
Cheesecake because that is traditional, or just because you like cheesecake?
Just because.
Oh, okay.
Just because. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, trifle would be the traditional Christmas Irish dessert.
Sure.
I'm not a huge trifle man.
Why is that?
None of my family are. Texturally, it's a bit weird. Okay. So you've got like the jelly-ish, and then you have the custard, and then you have the like is it the biscuity or something?
Oh, I guess it depends on how you make it, yeah.
Yeah. The layeredness, Cameron layered, the layers of trifle.
You said Hamron layered earlier, and I talked over you, and I just think it's important that we repeat that because that was very funny.
Well, I edit this podcast, so obviously I'm going to just mute your audio channel. When I say
obviously. That. Yeah. Unless I get to it first.
Unless you do, and I hope you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
interesting. I would say our food is not that different.
No.
I think the meat the meat. The meat? I don't know why I said that. That changes a little bit. So we would typically have lamb.
Lamb.
But everything else is pretty much the same. Desserts would be different. So good.
Whenever I eat lamb, a little tear just rolls down my cheek.
It really, I haven't figured out how I feel about anymore. Lamb. I feel very sad when I eat lamb. So I would prefer ham, not human ham. That's friggin' weird.
Could you imagine a human lamb? Wow. Bah. Am I right? Bad news. But
Anyway. Okay. And then how do you do like presents?
Christmas morning.
Okay.
My little brother, he's 16 now, so the getting up super duper early days are over, and
that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I prefer that. And like the magic of Santa coming during the night and stuff, that's all over now, unfortunately. But that's such is life, you know?
Yeah, it's just growing up.
That's just growing up.
It's growing up and stopping putting chips on sandwiches.
That's it.
Yep.
Just getting your act together.
Yeah.
But we still do the same thing usually, just later. More lions. I'll probably be up before him this Christmas because he is a teenager that sleeps a lot because that's what they do.
Yeah.
So I'll be waking him up going, "It's Christmas, it's Christmas," with my lisp, with my morning lisp.
Oh, well, good. We never really did the Santa thing.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if there's a specific reason. My presents always came from my parents, you know? And I think that's something that I wanted to carry on, you know, if I have kids.
Really?
To them. But we would, we didn't really do stockings either, but like stocking stuffers, those would be from Santa as like wink, wink Santa. But it's like, I don't know. There just was never really a time where I remember finding out that Santa wasn't real.
I'll take 2 questions, please. 2 questions. Yes. Question number 1. Did your friends believe in Santa Claus and you had to keep it quiet?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay.
Probably.
And question number 2, please.
Okay.
Is it common in South Africa to not have Santa Claus, or to not to have him be this mythical figure that brings you presents in the middle of the night and rides deer?
He rides a sleigh. He doesn't ride the deer.
Indirectly
pull
rides
the sleigh.
Deer.
Come on. Get it right,
Ipso
Cameron.
facto.
I actually have no idea. But they do call him Father Christmas and not Santa Claus.
Okie dokie.
Father Christmas and Happy Christmas instead of Merry Christmas.
So I say Merry, you don't?
I mean, I say Merry Christmas because I've lived in America.
Sorry, South Africans do Happy Christmas and Father Christmas.
Say Happy Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's Father Christmas. I don't know now. I think maybe it with the
modern
the world's
day
so connected has changed.
now,
but like my Oma would say Happy Christmas and Father Christmas.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Oma is grandmother, by the way.
I gathered that, yeah.
Well,
No, I could have got that horribly wrong. That's cool. Well,
yeah.
I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, yourself and Josh.
Cameron, you and Michelle as well.
And Nick and Mochi. But we want to we want to wish all of our listeners a very Merry Christmas.
Very Merry Christmas, a very happy Christmas, a lovely
Father Christmas. Oma. All the buzzwords that we all learned today.
Wait, what was it? Stephen's Day?
St. Stephen's Day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the saint part important?
Oh, fuck. That's actually probably very wrong. And I've just been saying it like a stupid person.
Was he even a saint?
He definitely was a saint. St. Stephen. But it'd be St. Stephen's Day. St. Stephen's Day. Oh my God. I'm not editing that out. I want the world to know how stupid I am.
No, you're not stupid though.
St. Stephen's Day? Oh my God.
Anyway, have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope that one of your New Year's resolutions is to keep listening to this podcast.
Yes, and it should be.
It should be.
And if it isn't, we'll know.
Yeah. Santa will tell us.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Soundtrack Exchange. If you want to listen to the tracks discussed this week or any previously released episode, check out the playlist linked in the show notes. And if you enjoy this podcast, share it with someone you know and leave a review.
Also, if you have some soundtrack themes and topics that Christelle and I should explore, feel free to email us with your suggestions. If it's chosen, we'll be sure to give you a shout out.
Until next time, we out!